Alright, you guys, this is how it went down. Dick Cheney planned the whole thing. And you know who helped him out? Space lizards. What happened was they came down.
Over the years, I've met a surprising number of 9/11 truthers. Most are crazy, but some are very intelligent, committed people with well-thought-out theories. It's these people that I find the most frustrating. They put tremendous energy into proving things that can't be proven and wouldn't convince anyone even if they were proven. I think this energy could be put into popularizing the real, documented, and damning truth of 9/11. The truth that I'm talking about is just as evil, just as traitorous, and just as bewildering as a CIA plot or a planned explosion. And this truth doesn't need to be proven. It's something that we all know, but just choose not to talk about. What I'm talking about is what happened after 9/11. On September 11th, 2001, most of the hijackers were from Saudi Arabia. All of them were committed to an ideology that came from Saudi Arabia. We have always known that the organization that carried out the attacks, Al-Qaeda, came from Saudi Arabia, was run by a Saudi Arabian, and got most of its funding from Saudi Arabia. In the years since, it has become clear that the hijackers got help and support from members of the Saudi government and members of the Saudi royal family. So what did we do? Did we go after Saudi Arabia? Hell no. In the days and months after 9/11, the U.S. government mobilized to protect Saudi Arabia and to divert attention from the country. In 2001, Saudi Arabia had two main enemies. Since the early 1990s, their oil resources had been threatened by the military machine of Saddam Hussein's Iraq. And since 1979, Sunni Saudi Arabia has been threatened by the militant Shia regime in Iran and its proxies in Syria and Lebanon. In his State of the Union address in January 2002, George W. Bush announced our plans for the War on Terror. Saudi Arabia was not mentioned once in his Axis of Evil speech. You know who did get a mention, though? Saudi Arabia's two greatest enemies, Iraq and Iran. We essentially declared war on both countries. In 2003, we took Iraq out. We all know what a disaster that has been. If it had been a success, we would probably have invaded Iran by now. The US public wouldn't let that happen, but both Bush and Obama pursued war against Iran by other means. Incredibly, we've been working with the same Sunni networks that brought down the World Trade Center. Obama made some nice noises and signed the nuclear deal with Iran. At the same time, he actively encouraged the destruction of Syria, Iran's most important ally, and approved and supported Saudi Arabia's murderous war in Yemen. Donald Trump, a man who promised to make the war on terror less insane, has started out his administration by putting Iran on notice and approving more U.S. action in Yemen. So did you follow that? We were attacked by Saudi Arabia on 9/11, and we have spent the past 15 years fighting Saudi Arabia's biggest enemies. Everybody knows this, but nobody talks about it. That is some 9/11 truth that should be shouted from the rooftops. Do you want to know why we don't talk about this? Well, then I'd suggest you pick up my new essay, Everybody's Lying About Islam, available now on the Amazon Kindle. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.